I'm Molly Hagan, and this is a Walker Wiki exclusive. I always tape over something.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Nice to actually get to talk to you.
I know. Yeah. So yeah, really nice to meet you. You guys are very lovely. You're just so.
Oh, thank you.
Lovely.
You're lovely.
Your communication
We
on Twitter and everything has been really great.
Yeah, well, when we said we posted a little thing to field out some fan questions for you, and the response was overwhelming. Everybody just adores you, and there's a lot of feedback that you're very involved with the fans. You reply a lot, you're very engaging, and that's something that the fans really appreciate. So back at you. You have something that somebody made as your header on Twitter of you and Jared. Yeah, so just little things like that, the fans get so excited over things like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's great.
So the first question, obviously, we've been asking everybody, what was your initial reaction and your feeling upon reading the script for Walker, and what made you want to do the show?
I just felt like I was reading about real humans, real humans, and the loss of Emily's really got to me immediately. And Abilene reminded me of my mom. And so I was like, I want to do this. I want to do this, and hopefully they'll let me. And then auditioning for Anna was the easiest thing ever. Like a room full of women was a really different experience.
Wow. Well, we're glad that you got the role.
Me too.
There's actually been a lot of positive things that have been said about the atmosphere on set, and a lot of fans were curious about why that's so special.
I mean, I really think it comes from the top down. So it really is Jared. It's Jared and Anna. Jared is a really warm human being. He's naturally warm. He's naturally gregarious and enthusiastic, and is a real people person. And he's kind. And so he doesn't allow non-kindness on the set. And I think that's I think it begins with him. But also Anna has a knack of only hiring people who are kind. I mean, she hires people who, I mean, every guest star who's shown up has been lovely and fun. And so it's not like it's hard to keep this atmosphere up. It's really simple, but because it came from the top down, both Anna and Jared.
It's so funny how everybody says that almost verbatim, word for word. Like, it's true, and everybody says the same thing. And
maybe I come up with something else. I think like I'm not a particularly kind person. It actually takes a lot of effort for me, but kindness is a habit. No, truly, ask my husband. Kindness is a habit. And like, once you're in the habit of being kind, it gets easier.
That's actually true.
Yeah.
The more you think about it.
So for being the emotional backbone of the family and the one trying to keep everyone together, can you tell us if there is any chance at all for Abilene to have any kind of action scenes in the future? Like horse riding?
I know this, well, I don't know this season because we're not done. Yeah. I mean, I haven't read them all. I haven't read the last two. I really think it's doubtful. Okay. I mean, look at me. I don't think so.
Okay,
that's fair.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I'm okay with it.
Okay, that's good.
That's good then. So what can you tell us about Abilene's and Hoyt's relationship and their history together?
Hoyt is like a life force. He's just a life force and a light force, and so is the actor Matt. So he's so different than her other children.
Yeah.
He's like a vacation. I mean, even though he gets into trouble, but when he gets into trouble or whatever, it's not a reflection on me. I'm not, it's not my genes. So, I want to help him. I want to do the best I can, but he just, I think he represents freedom for her. Freedom, and he's light, and he's fun, and he's like a breath of fresh air for her. And I just think, I don't know, it allows for an affection that maybe you can't have with your own children, because you're so responsible for your own children in every way. Their faults probably come from you. His faults don't come from me. It's like, it's not a reflection of me.
Mhm.
I don't know. I think Abilene adores Hoyt.
Mhm.
Just adores him.
Yeah, we saw the promo photos for next week's episode with him dipping you. It was very sweet. We're excited to see that. So speaking of relationships and stuff, can you tell us more about Abilene's character arc with Gary that was kind of touched on a few episodes back?
Yeah, I think God only knows what would have happened if Emily had not died. That's all. I don't know. And I don't know if it would have been necessarily Gary driven, or just like, I'm done driven. I'm done raising children. I'm done doing this. It's now time for me.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So we've seen that Abilene has a lot of hobbies, a lot of interests. We saw her with the gym, we see her gardening. Do you share any of those hobbies?
I used to garden with my mom. We lived in Indiana, and we had a pretty good garden. Not every year. Now I come to think of it, we only did it probably a couple years, but we grew food.
Okay.
And then I was part of a community garden with a boyfriend when I first moved to Los Angeles. And we grew corn. We grew great corn. We grew corn, potatoes, lettuce. That's when I learned, our lettuce was gone. And gophers, and they were completely gone, but it didn't look like someone took everything. They were gone. There were no roots. There was nothing. Gophers come and they take it from below. So all our heads of lettuce were gone because the gophers would come and it was crazy. So, I mean, I do like vegetable gardening. It is because I live in California. Well, I know I live in Texas, but I mean, most of my gardening experience in LA right now is a lot of drought tolerant stuff. And so my husband does all that. And so to really grow vegetables, you need to use a lot of water.
Yeah.
And we don't have an automated system. And so I'm lazy and no, I'm not doing it. The jam, I would never make that jam in a million years. I read how many sugar is in that jam because I did some research, and I'm like, it's like 5 cups of sugar. It was crazy. And then stirring it, I don't know if it was the recipe or whatever, but like those jalapenos, I was like, I'm never making this. And then, but like I do, like, I think you've seen me do, I think it's, what is it called? Crocheting. I crochet a little bit. I do like to problem solve and fix my own stuff. Thank God for YouTube.
Yeah, you told me.
You can do anything.
Yeah.
What was the most difficult scene to film, and what was the most fun scene to film?
The most difficult scene is coming up.
Okay. No spoilers.
And you'll see. And then, basically, and the funnest thing is coming up too. But basically any scene I have with Mitch is really fun.
He's great.
Yeah, he's wonderful.
He's just a ball of laughter.
So
He is. No, I mean, really, he is. I mean, he is.
Yeah, I mean, he seems great. We've been
Yeah.
fans of his since before Walker, so we kind of came in knowing him a little bit.
Mhm.
So we've seen a lot of scenes with you and him, and you and the family. Is there anybody on the show that you haven't had an opportunity to film with much that you would like to?
Yeah, basically, Lindsay, Jeff, and Kobe.
That makes sense.
because they're, they, like, the other day Kobe was there and I was like, oh my god, and we, it was really exciting, but we don't really have scenes. And like, so yeah, basically all of them.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And this question was a really important one for us to ask. We know that you're involved in some charity work, notably the Hollywood Food Coalition. Can you tell us how you got involved in that?
So do you guys know who John Billingsley is?
No.
It sounds familiar, but no.
He was on Star Trek. Oh god, he's gonna kill me. Discovery. Anyway, he's got a huge fan base. Anyway, we were doing an episode of oh god, it's a space show. It's funny. Okay, we're doing a show together. It doesn't matter. Anyway, we're doing a show together, and we were at the read through, and I'm like, because I'm friends with his wife, I'm like, so what have you been doing? And he goes, I'll tell you what I've been doing. And he goes, I'm semi-retired. He pulls out of his wallet like 15 cards of all the different organizations he's volunteering for. And one of them was the Hollywood Food. I'm gonna edit this story. One of them was the Hollywood Food Coalition. And so because of John, I started to do that. And John's like president of the board now. And it's through John Billingsley and Bonnie Friederici. So, and because of them, I got involved, and it's just an incredible organization. I met the woman who was running it, and Sherry Bonanno, and she was such a huge life force. And, they haven't missed serving a meal since 1987, like every night of the week. And this is a grassroots organization.
That's incredible.
So, I don't know. I just fell in love with the people and their commitment, and volunteering was fun. It was super fun. So that's how I got involved.
And for anybody watching this, we'll throw the links below as to where you can find out more information and where you can donate. So just a couple more. Kind of on the note, because you've done a lot of things over your career, you have a very impressive resume, and you shared the screen with some pretty impressive names too. What advice would you give to people looking to get into the industry?
Well, it has changed a great deal since I started. The good things are there's so much content. So there's so many entry points. And because technology has gotten so good, you can make your own content. So I just feel that ultimately it's about storytelling. It can't be about you. Like, it can't just be like, I want to be famous. I mean, it can be, and maybe that works for people, but I think it's about storytelling and having this drive to want to tell stories and to want to illuminate something. I think because that drive is greater than I just want to be seen. I mean, believe me, I'm the last of 7 children. I wanted to be seen, but it had to be bigger than that, or I would have quit. So I think if people just keep re-upping their passion and keep reinventing their passion, because sometimes your passion goes away, then no one can stop you. And also, I'm not doing a very good job. I don't know what to tell young people, except find stories you want to tell, and maybe your own.
Yeah, I think that's wonderful.
I think that's a very thoughtful advice. It's not an answer that I've heard before, so it's interesting.
Oh.
And then finally, to end it off, this is how we end everyone. Do you have anything to say to the Walker fans watching this interview?
Thanks. Just thank you. I think you're seeing what we as actors saw in these scripts about the humanity of the piece, and how much people care for each other. And I think with COVID, I was like, we needed this so bad right now. We needed these stories and this family and the relationships within each, I just think so bad. This couldn't have come at a better time. And so
I agree.
thank you for following us.
I've been working through this entire pandemic, and I can say every Thursday I'm just a little happier. A little happier. I get to Thursday and I'm like, all right, Walker. So it's definitely lifting some much needed spirits, and the cast, everybody involved, yourself, it's incredible.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you.
So thank you so much for taking this time. I know you're very busy and we really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you so much.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm really glad to finally meet you guys.
Yes, so someday in the whenever future, hopefully we can actually do it in person.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yes. Yes.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thanks.